The first discussion that I will discuss is about trade disputes. Trade disputes have been defined in the Industrial Relations Act, which means any disputes between employers and his employees relating to the employment or non-employment or conditions of employment or working conditions of any such employee. Disputes between employers and employees can consequently occur if the individual making the grievance is represented his or her trade union and has completed the complaints procedure without obtaining a satisfactory result. Complaints often filed by employees mean differences of opinion about the interpretation of collective agreements or terms and conditions of service that are appropriate for them. For the existence of a trade dispute, employees must be represented by their trade union and can make a complaint to the Director General of Industrial Relations. If unable to resolve the problem, the employee can refer to the industrial court. There are certain disputes between trade union and employees where the industrial court has no jurisdiction in matters where the industrial court cannot order the employer to execute a checkout agreement. Among the matters of resolving the trade disputes are direct negotiation, conciliation, mediation, and arbitration.
The first issue is non-recognition of unions. It will be valid when the employer agrees and engages with the union issues. The voluntary recognizers can be described as the employers that agree without using any legal procedures. The Federal Constitution of Malaysia has the ability to create and make the employers join the union, but during the results of government policy, the awards has been declined. This has been described in Part 3 of IRA 1967 and Part 2 of the Industrial Relations Regulations 2009. They can seek to represent workers in collective bargaining to submit an application. The trade union can file a report if the employer rejects the claim or if they do not have any response after the time limit has passed. This will make they take the appropriate step.
The last issue is low wage, which are defined as basic wage and all other cash payment made to an employee for work done in terms of his contract or service under the Employment Act of 1955, which do not include the value of any housing accommodation, travel allowance, gratuity, annual business, and other exclusion apply. Under the Employment Act of 1955, the term wage has a variety of meaning and applications. When a fixed-term contract of service or when an specified term contract of service is cancelled due to the other party's notification, the wage must be paid no later than the day the contract is cancelled. If the employer terminates the contract by paying salary in lieu of notice, employee breach of contract or dismissal for misconduct, the wage must be paid on the last day of employment. Meanwhile, if the employee terminates the contract by paying a salary in place of notice or without notice owing to a violation of contract, and the dependents have been subjected to violence or this is not specified in the contract, the wage must be paid no later than the third day after the termination.
Issue in trade union dispute should be resolved immediately by determining the sources of the issue and finding solution for resolving the conflict peacefully and to the benefits of all parties involved. Conciliation negotiation are one of the recommendations for resolving dispute for the first issue, which is non-recognition of unions. Conciliation is the process of arriving at a settlement of a trade dispute with the help of a third or neutral party. In trade dispute, conciliation is carried out by officers of the Departments of Industrial Relations. The goals of conciliation negotiation is to bring the two conflicting parties together in order to reach an agreement. It is a process of rational and orderly discussion of differences between the parties to a dispute. During these discussions, the employee must explain why the employee is not being recognized for forming an employee association. Because of the existence of these recognitions from employers, trade union can improve employee confidence in joining a trade union. If the dispute cannot be resolved through conciliation negotiation, the trade union may file a written complaint of recognition claim with the Head Director Malaysian Industrial Relations after 14 days of reserving the employee's feedbacks or after the 20-day period has expired.
Okay, for the next recommendation is apart from that, the proposal to resolve the dispute from the second issue is to conduct direct negotiation. Direct negotiation is something that is not formal without the involvement or assistance of a third party. Usually, direct negotiation is based on the term of collective bargaining. Through direct consultation, discussion are conducted between union and employer at the company. Base level procedure set out in the collective agreement. Direct negotiation is a way of solution best, fast, cheap, easy and profitable for both parties. So, every employer must abide by the government's instruction in paying the salary of the employee. Okay, that's all for our group.